swept away. Dead zones have been expanding worldwide since they were discovered in the 1970s and are expected to continue growing larger. Jacob DeMille, One America News.
Surveillance video captures the moment a South Carolina man narrowly misses being struck by lightning. Take a look. The incident occurred Thursday evening as school counselor Romulus McNeil was leaving from work. McNeil says he was contemplating if it was safe to exit the building as it started storming. Well, footage shows McNeil walking to his car when the lightning bolt strikes right next to the sidewalk he was walking on. While he was obviously startled, he thankfully was not injured.
Oh my God, it's literally alive.
Where did you
Don't do that, Gordon. Oh my God.
The salad's ruined anyway, don't worry.
And a very surprising moment for one Wisconsin family after finding a live frog in a store-bought salad. According to local media, the Allen family purchased that organic salad from their local Pick and Save in Glendale. They said they wanted to return both the lettuce and the frog in it, but it escaped overnight. Although they were given a refund for that salad, they still have several questions. The company who made the salad, Simple Truth, apologized to the family, saying these situations happen from time to time when organic products are involved. Always check your salad. All right, well, that's going to do it for me. I'm Elma Aksalich. Going to hand it over now to Emily Finn, who is here with more of your day's top headlines. Take it away.
Thank you, Elma. Coming up on this hour of One America News, members of the Cheney family are throwing their support behind President Trump's re-election campaign. What Congresswoman Liz Cheney had to say about President Trump. Plus, Anthony Scaramucci is taking his fight with the president to the next level. His latest attempt to unseat the president in 2020, and demonstrations once again turn violent in Portland, the latest clashes between Antifa and right-wing protesters. Today is Sunday, August 18th, and this hour of One America News starts right now. Thank you for joining me on this hour of One American News. I'm Emily Finn. To start out this hour, China is in turmoil as it deals with rioting Hong Kong domestically and a painful trade war with the U.S. internationally. We turn now to One America's Chanel Rion, who is live at the White House with the latest. Good morning, Chanel. So pressure has been placed on President Trump to comment about the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong, where demonstrators are protesting the communist Chinese government there. So tell us, how has the White House responded?
Good morning, Emily. Well, the White House has been reluctant to comment because at this moment we're in a fairly delicate trade talks with China, and there's been some marked reluctance to really comment about Hong Kong, except in forms of questions. So President Trump did tweet this out. He said, "I know President Xi of China very well. He is a great leader who very much has the respect of his people. He is also a good man in a tough business. I have zero doubt that if President Xi wants to quickly and humanely solve the Hong Kong problem, he can do it." Personal meeting. And again, phrased in a question, very delicately put. There's no outward statement from President Trump, which is what we have come to expect. Then President Trump becomes a little more direct later on in a tweet where he says, if President Xi would meet directly and personally with the protesters, there would be a happy and enlightened ending to the Hong Kong problem. I have no doubt. So when asked whether President Trump directly was concerned about some of the more violent putting down of Hong Kong protesters in China lately, this is how President Trump responded. Take a look.
Well, I am concerned. I wouldn't want to see a violent crackdown. I really would like to see China in a humane way solve the problem in Hong Kong. Humanely solve the problem in Hong Kong. And I think they could do it very quickly.
So as you can hear there, diplomatic tones, careful not to tilt a delicate situation amid Chinese trade talks.
It certainly sounds like President Trump is being cautious. And Chanel, I think it's interesting to quickly point out, we saw some reports of some of the demonstrators, although they were small groups within the giant protest, they were actually waving American flags. And so many believe that repping the U.S. flag is not only an effort to infuriate President Xi and make his government look weak, like they've lost total control of the city, but other protesters are saying that they're trying to encourage President Trump and the U.S. government, for that matter, to take some action. But like you pointed out, a more diplomatic tone might be the best approach amid these ongoing trade talks. So let's shift to our trade war with China. We know the White House's September deadline for the 10% tariffs have been delayed to November. What does the president's game plan seem to be here?
Well, Emily, it seems to be a strategic trade siege, if you will. It's a waiting game, a waiting war. And President Trump seems fairly confident that in a waiting war with China, that the U.S. would come out on top. He said on Friday, he made a comment about this on Friday. Take a look.
No, I think the longer the trade war goes on, the weaker China gets and the stronger we get. We're taking in massive amounts of money, billions and billions of dollars, Steve, as you know. And I think the longer it goes, the stronger we get. I have a feeling it's going to go fairly short. I think it's going to be China's lost millions of jobs. You saw that reported today. Thousands of companies are closing in China. And I don't know, maybe they want to do this for a year. They'd love to have somebody like Biden who doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I just put a clip where he said, oh, we want to build up China. We want to build up China. Well, they gave us a very strong China. China's taken out over $500 billion a year for many years from our country. And that's not going to happen anymore.
We have President Trump remarking that we do almost $500 billion in business with China. We are China's largest trade partner. And if you put us on a list of China's trade partners, the U.S. comes out as the largest trade partner by 4 countries. We are larger by 4 countries, excluding Hong Kong, put together. So in a waiting game, the president is very confident that the U.S. will win. And he emphasized this in a tweet the other day. China is eating the tariffs with the devaluation of their currency and pouring money into their system. American consumers are fine with or without the September date, but much good will come from the short deferral to December. Thousands of companies leaving China. China wants to make a deal. Let them work humanely with Hong Kong first. So we circle back to Hong Kong in that tweet, where the president believes that he seems to understand that China is distracted right now with what is happening in Hong Kong. And so that seems to be playing a factor in delaying the tariffs from September to December. But again, President Trump seems to reiterate and believe that if China continues on this path of going to war with us over trade, that China will soon enter into a recession. Emily?
Oh, yes, I mean, with both countries' best interests taken into account, I mean, President Trump's cooperation with President Xi, with, of course, keeping our country's end goal in mind, it seems to be a good sign that they might be able to reach a deal, hopefully, in the near future. So with the White House's aggressive approach to China here, how concerning is it that we might see China possibly retaliate?
Well, again, President Trump has emphasized that China's either non-cooperation or retaliation even is not a sustainable model for China economically. We are their #1 trading partner. And he said this about China and their possible retaliations. Take a listen.
Well, if they did retaliate, which I don't think they will do because we're talking to them and they're offering things that are very good, I don't think they'll retaliate. But if they did, we have the ultimate form of retaliation. I think they'd have very few jobs left in China because we'd be able to step it up.
So again, China's trade war is a waiting war. Whoever can wait the longest will win. And President Trump feels confident that the United States is in a great position economically and trade-wise to wait the longest. And the numbers do not look good for China. They cannot wait long. Emily?
Well, I mean, Chanel, we definitely look forward to more reports from you about these ongoing Hong Kong protests during this waiting game. Thank you for spending some time on your Sunday to talk with me. Now let's move on to more of today's top headlines. President Trump takes aim at the New York Times and its shifting coverage on his presidency. Taking to Twitter this morning, the president pointed out how the paper has shifted its coverage from a phony collusion narrative to a racism witch hunt. He called the paper a propaganda machine